Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. I'm Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world. Tonight we're going to have some fun because we are going to make a postcard. Now, I love making postcards, and I don't make them nearly enough, but with the new Postcards and More stamp set, we've got all the details that we need to make some beautiful postcards, and they're not only fun to make, but they're really fun to send, and they're very fun to get in the mail. So that's going to be what we're going to work on tonight. And I've got a few details about making postcards so that you can get them through the mail the right way. And also some tips and tricks on how to maybe use them for a card front as well. So with that in mind, before we get started, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Glad to see you. Postcards, huh?
Postcards, yeah.
That's a big part of life. Postcards.
Every time we go somewhere, we pick postcards to send to your mom, right?
Yeah. I'm going to find a good one. I think a good beach one next time.
Yeah, and you know, it's also fun to even pick up postcards of your local area and send them to friends because
They've never been.
They've never been, right? Some of our friends that live far away. Yeah, but you can also make your own really neat custom postcards, which I think is really fun too.
Very cool. And you know, who doesn't have postcards from way back?
I know. That's one of those little treasures that we like to save, right?
Very cool.
And you can make postcards with all kinds of things. Like, Tom, I could picture you making like a camping postcard or using some beach scenery or something.
Yes.
And then for me, of course, I want to do a floral one tonight, but there's just so many ways that you can do this. So I'm excited.
So you're talking about a postcard that you can make and send, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
All right. Well,
awesome.
Shall we get to it?
Yes.
Well, it is great to see everybody in here. I just want you to know up front that we're giving away a gift card at the end of tonight's live, and the way to enter to win is just to make a comment. We know we have people coming in from Facebook, in our group, Facebook on our Facebook page, Twitch, and also on YouTube. So we are quadruple streaming tonight, and all of the comments are coming in, which is great, and so we'll be picking a winner at the end of the show tonight. So let's talk a little bit about postcards. So postcards can be made in a couple of different sizes. Now, all of the information that I have has to do with the U.S. Postal Service. I'm not sure if there are different parameters for different countries, but you should definitely check your own country if you're from somewhere other than the U.S. to make sure that these dimensions and stuff will make it through. But a postcard, it can be very thin, so it could even be on our 80-pound layering weight cardstock if you wanted it. And you guys probably get mailers, like postcard mailers in your junk mail that are super thin. They will be able to go through, but my favorite thickness for postcards is our 120-pound white cardstock, our heavy base weight white or our heavy base weight ivory. They're both 120 pounds. They're super thick. And they're just sturdy. I feel like they just make it through the mail so much better without getting crushed. Now, a postcard can be anywhere from 3.5 inches by 5 inches, which is similar to most of the postcards that you see when you go to the beach resorts and they're hanging in that, circular rack and you're picking through them. They're usually about 3.5 inches by 5 inches, but it can also go all the way up to 4.25 by 6 inches. So that's a pretty big postcard. So if you want to write more, you want to do more decorating, you definitely can do that. A postcard in the U.S. will mail for 53 cents. And a card, like an A2 card or a number 10 card, which is what we call a large slimline. That's like a business size envelope, or a small check envelope, which we call, I say envelope and envelope, which we call our mini slimline. They can all go for the price of one forever stamp, which is currently at 68 cents. So it is a little cheaper to send a postcard at 53 cents. Some people even like to do postcards for Christmas, where you know, maybe do one side as a photograph, and then the other side you can decorate as a postcard and write a personalized message. So there's lots of ways to use this. Now let me show you what the two different sizes look like. So this is the large one. This looks pretty big, right? I don't know if I have an A2 card around here. Let me grab one. I have one over here. Let me just grab this one from the other day. So this is an A2 card, and you can see this 4 1/4 by 6 inch postcard is quite a bit bigger than just a regular A2 card. And then the size that's the most common that you'll see in the variety stores at the beach resorts and stuff is this size, which is 3 1/2 by 5. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a Master Layouts die set that cuts this exact size. But, you know, I actually think it's nice to just hand cut this, because a lot of the Master Layouts have stitching, and the stitching isn't as pretty on the one side as it is on the front. So, you know, by cutting it out with a paper cutter, it's nice and crisp. Now, I'm going to make these smaller ones today, and I actually have 2 of them already cut out, because I thought it might be fun to do the back on one side and the front on the other side. This way I can share them in a photo for you, and you know, you get to see the whole thing. And then if I want to use part of it or both of them on my 5x7 card, I can show you how to lay that out and how I think that that would look. I know, I remember sending postcards for next to nothing. Back in the day, remember, Tom, when we would go to Wildwood, New Jersey, and we'd grab postcards and send them home? Yeah. Yeah, so those were the days, right? So, all right, we're going to start with the back of the postcard. So what I'm going to do here is, to decorate my postcard and make it look really pretty, remember, there's a couple key things that are different about postcards than making cards. The first one is no layers. We can't put any layers on here because they're going to get all jammed up in the machine, and they're not going to be a true postcard. A postcard has to be a single layer. No embellishments. No accent pieces. You know, everything has to be flat. So we're going to create the look of a layer with a little masking magic. So I am going to use the 1/4 inch strips of masking magic. And if you're new to masking magic is a masking paper that is tacky. It will not stick to your card, or, well, it'll stick, but it won't tear your card when you peel it off. And it's not very porous. So the ink doesn't bleed through no matter how much ink you ink on this. And I've seen people even do water and stuff with it, and it really holds up well. But what you see I'm doing here is I'm creating a border around the outside because I want it to have a nice little edge. And, you know, this one's going to be hard for me because I can't really use my black layer panel that I normally use. Well, at least not on the single postcard. But you know what? I'm going to survive this. I know I am. Okay, so I thought it would be fun to make use of one of our older stencils, but you can use any stencil you want for this. I know a lot of you already have this stencil, so I thought it would be fun to use. And this is the Tranquil Lotus stencil. It's a 3-piece stencil, so it's pretty easy to use. And we can use this in a way where we create some flowers coming in from one side, and then we can put a greeting on the outside, and then we can kind of finish it off a little bit. So I'm going to make sure that this flower is all the way in onto my card, and then the rest is kind of hanging off. So let's start with a little bit of pixie tape here, just to hold this down. This is layer 1, and the colors I thought I would use for my lotus flower are these lilacs. I'm in the mood for a nice purple card tonight, so I thought I would start with the lilacs. So I do need to get a blending brush. Let me grab one here.
And let's clarify, these are cards you can mail, right?
Absolutely, you can mail these postcards, just like you would any postcard. I don't think we think enough about making postcards because we're so used to A2 cards. But postcards are very fun. And for those of you that make cards and sell them at craft fairs and things like that, this is just kind of another fun thing that you can make. You can also make a little box of postcards as a gift for the holidays to give someone. And it's just a quick, easy thing to do. And what might be nice if you're going to make it as a gift for the holidays, start now because you can make lots of postcards. Maybe give them a set of 8 postcards and 8 postage stamps. So this way, they can write those cards to people. They can drop them in the mail. They have the stamps all ready to go. But always check your postal website. It's USPS.com. Always check them first to make sure the price didn't go up. Currently, it's 53 cents because I did check that last week. All right, so I'm going to start with some light lilac here, and I'm going to color in these flowers with some light lilac. So I know I'm kind of under my screen here, but maybe my face can go away for this part. Okay, so I'm starting in the middle, and I'm just adding some of that light lilac onto these flowers. I love using the stencils with the Masking Magic too, because we're going to get that nice border around the edge, and it's just going to finish everything off. So it's going to be so pretty. So we're starting on the back of the postcard. I don't know what's the back and what's the front. We're starting on the part that doesn't have the postcard stuff. We're going to make that next. But we're going to make the front and the back all match. And I can do this all on one card, I guess. Just so we can see how it looks, maybe. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. Now we've got our first layer on there. That's so pretty. Do you guys love the purples as much as I do? Like, I was never a super crazy purple person. Teal was always my color. But, you know, I don't know. Lately, these lilacs are so pretty because they've got that bluish undertone. So I'm going to use medium lilac next, and I guess I should put my next stencil on top, right? I'm already inking up my brush, but my stencil's not there yet. So these are easy to line up. You just want to kind of play around with them until the white lines disappear. That looks pretty good. There we go, and up like that. Okay, so I think we got it in a good spot. I'm going to tape that down too. This is truly one of my favorites, but I really also love the new poppies that are in the kit. You can also do this with the layered carnation if you have that, and also summer bouquet. You get very similar looks from all of those stencils. So if you don't have this one, don't worry about it. Just see what you do have. Oh, I moved it. So let's fix it. Why did I move it? I wasn't paying attention. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to use the medium lilac on here. That's pretty.
Michelle has a question.
Sure.
Can you put the card in the plastic protector that comes in big sets to protect the card, but put the stamp on the outside of the plastic sleeve so it gets canceled?
You know, I think they would charge you for an envelope if you did that. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they would, because they would consider that little plastic bag an envelope. And you know, they do make clear envelopes like that. So I think they probably wouldn't let you do it. All right, so there are the 2 layers. Gosh, that's a pretty one.
Is that 1/4 inch Masking Magic?
This is 1/4 inch Masking Magic on here, yes. And so now I'm going to pop these little stems in. Just like that. Those were easy. They went into place very nicely. But that's a good thought. I mean, you know, I just know they really like to get you. And it's not, I mean, it's not that they like to get you. There's probably something about that that makes it not go through the machine the same way or something. I don't know. Ooh, I almost knocked over my bright space. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of light spruce here.
All right, we got a question from Netta.
Yes, Netta.
Should you always do the background of the flower in light, and as you get into the smaller and closer details, darker?
Well, if you're using dye inks, the answer is yes, because the dye inks are transparent. So if you had a dark color, the lighter color would be transparent and you wouldn't see it. But if you wanted to do something like emboss over the second layer, you could certainly do that by using embossing and watermark ink, and then using a lighter embossing powder like a white, or if you have colored embossing powder. So you could get that second layer to be lighter if you did that. Or if you wanted to add white as your second layer, white pigment ink, although it is a pigment ink and it's more opaque, it's not so opaque when you're stenciling it in that it would actually lighten the color of the color that's underneath. So it's really up to you. But if you're using dye inks, then you absolutely have to go light on the bigger area and then darker on the details. And I know that our stencils and a lot of stencils are designed so that the details show the recessed areas of the flower, which in nature would look darker to your eye. So they'll make more sense to your eye if you use the darker color. But it's always fun to experiment. Now I'm going to use some medium spruce here with a detail blending brush, just kind of closer to the top, and just work my way halfway down.
Are Gina K inks water reactive?
They are. They're not watercolor, but they are water reactive. So you can get that speckled look if you spritz them, things like that. All right, so now we've got our 3 layers there. Now I'm going to choose a greeting because I want to see what I want to use here. And I'm really thinking that I want to do one of these big greetings from the... this is from the Modern Roses set. And I think I would put that right here, like love and hugs right there. So with that in mind, I'm going to add another flower down in this area coming in from the other direction. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that first stencil, and I think I'm going to do this one because I think this one is just fluffier, you know. So I'm going to put that down there, and then I'm going to just look again to make sure my love and hugs is going to fit in there, and it will. And it's okay if it overlaps a little bit. That might be pretty too. And I'm going to leave a little white space up here in the corner.
And a question, could you put Tim Holtz Distress Microglaze over the image, I guess, to protect it?
I think you can. I have not used Tim's microglaze, so I don't know much about it, but you certainly... You can do pastes, you can do gels, you can do glitz glitter gel for your second layer. You know, you could do pretty much anything that you want. So there aren't any rules. And you know, I always say, hey, it's just paper, right? So make it a practice card and give it a try and see how it works. All right, so I'm going back to the light lilac here. Get some light lilac in there. I love lotus flowers. They're so peaceful and beautiful. And then we're going to add that second layer. Let's pull this up. You can see I am protecting my open space. I didn't on one of those and I got a little nervous, but I got lucky. Okay, so we've got one there. Now we're going to line this one up. This was pretty straight up and down, so it should line up pretty easily. Don't use microglaze over stamps. The post office will complain loud. Oh, okay. That's good to know. Yeah, because they have to be able to cancel the stamp, right? So you can't do that. All right, so now I'm going to use medium lilac on my second layer here. I know I'm being naughty by not covering this. There we go. And now we've got our second layer. Oh, isn't that pretty? That's just so nice and pretty. We have this stencil on order too. This one did sell out, but we have lots more coming. We have a big stencil order out there that is being manufactured. Stencils take a long time to make because they're cut with a laser and each layer is so detailed. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do, before I take all the masking magic off and stamp our greeting, is I want to fill in, okay? Because in order for this to actually look like a border, there has to be color all along this perimeter here. So I'm going to pick a different color. I'm going to pick one that I really like using for that purpose, and that is some sea glass. Okay, so let's add a little sea glass to this.
So again, this is 120 pound, right?
This is 120 pound white. And what's nice about our 120 pound white is the Copic markers don't even bleed through. So if you wanted to even do something that you color a little bit, you would have some good luck coloring on this without a bleed. Okay, so you see what I'm doing here? I'm using this sea glass ink and I'm just going around the perimeter. And sea glass is a good color for this because it's really not going to affect the purples very much because there's a lot of blue in this purple. So if you were using something different, like you were using oranges or you were using yellows and stuff like that, you might want to go more with a pink. Because that's not going to affect the oranges as much, but I think this is really nice for this look. Now I'm going to add a little texture in here. This is going to be a little nerve-wracking, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I've got some gray left here on my brush. See that? That's a light gray. This is soft stone. If you don't have a brush with gray on it, put a little soft stone on your brush for this. And I'm going to do just a little bit of this decorative double stencil. I'm going to use this basket side. And I'm just going to very lightly, just add a little bit of gray in here, like that. See how that just added a little bit? I'm even going to go lighter over here. Just a little bit here, a little bit here. Just to add a little bit. And that kind of just, maybe a little bit right up here, just a tiny bit in the corner, just to kind of give it a little bit of texture. All right. Now, that's all I'm going to do. Maybe I'll do just a tiny bit down here, just a little, tiny bit. Right there. Okay. You can see I went super light-handed. Okay, now I'm going to peel all of this off. Okay, and this is going to give me a nice little border. Okay. It really cleans everything up really nicely. There we go. So now this is the outside of my postcard. And you can see, like, it looks really like there's nothing there because there isn't. I just added a little bit of that in there just to create some texture. I know the reveal's the best part, right, Vicki? I love the reveal. Now I'm trying to decide if I want to do love and hugs. You could send a birthday wishes postcard to somebody. Wouldn't that be fun? That's a beautiful greeting. What if we did that and we made this a little birthday postcard? And then we could write on the other side, you know, wishing you, wishing you another, what is it, trip around the sun, whatever that saying is, just something short and sweet. And, you know, postcards are kind of fun for this because You can even, like if you're not a wordy person and you just want to drop them a line, this is a great way to do it. Okay, so let's make this a birthday card. A birthday postcard. Now, if you don't want to do that, we also, I know I keep jumping around here, but we also have a lot of stamps in our collection that are just kind of words of encouragement. And maybe you want to do a little word of encouragement here, something that they can take that postcard and pop it up on their, you know, on their wall or on their, I'm just looking here quick to see if I have any of those kinds of sets close by, but I don't because I didn't plan ahead. But we'll make it a birthday card, but that's just another idea for you. Because you know, these postcards are going to be, they're going to keep them, right? They're going to keep them. This stencil is called Decorative Double. And it's got like a basket, and then it's got this kind of cool pattern. I don't know. That probably has a name, but I don't know what that pattern name is.
And the other stencil set?
The other stencil set is called Tranquil Lotus. This one is on order. This was in a kit, a recent kit. Okay, so let's make this a birthday one. I think that fits in there really nicely. Okay. And for those of you that absolutely have no interest in making a postcard at all, this is a card front idea for you. So you don't have to like, ugh, I don't like this. I like the idea, that's pretty, but I would never make a postcard. Then make this the front of your card. It's a beautiful card front, okay? So let's hope for the best on the straightness of this. I think it's pretty straight. I could check it, but I'm going to be brave, and I'm just going to stamp it. Okay, let's give it one more. It's not perfectly straight, but it's better than horrible. Okay, there we go. So there is my card front. Now, this is my postcard front. Now, on the back, we can create a whole other thing. I just got a little glue residue here that will peel right off because that was stuck on my Misty. So do you guys want me to actually do the back of this card, or can I do the back on another card? Because this way I could kind of lay it out side by side and you could see the back and the front in one photo. I'll do the back on another card this way. But you can see nothing bled through, so it's totally fine to be able to do the whole thing. What is the yes? I don't know what yes means. Does yes mean...
Another card.
Another card? Okay. Okay, another card. And it'll be the back. I'll fake it and hold them together like it was the front and the back. But then we can also, you know, use the postcard on the 5x7 card that I have cut. Alrighty, let's put this aside. Now we want the back of the card to match the feel of the front of the card, right? So we're gonna do a little border around the outside again so that we can have consistency there, and we're gonna stick with that sea glass color for kind of going around the inside of this box that we're creating. Okay, so we would be just doing this. We would just be flipping this over and doing all of this here. Okay. And welcome everybody. It is great to see all of you here tonight. Thank you for joining us. If you're new here, my name is Gina, and Tom is over across the room in the dead space, and we are making postcards tonight. And if you just got here, make sure you drop a comment because we are giving away a gift card to Gina K Designs tonight at the end of the show. And also, I see some people saying, you know, to give us a thumbs up. We would love a thumbs up. That would be the best thing ever, because when you give us a thumbs up, it helps the algorithm. YouTube likes that, and it will show other people this video and help inspire some new crafters out there. So thank you so much. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, we'd also love to have you as a subscriber. All right, now we're going to use this set here. So we're going to actually put a line here, and then we are going to put postcard on top. So I'm going to, let's see here. Maybe I should stamp all. I'm going to stamp all of this first. I know that was a lot of work, but you know what? This is the way we learn. We learn together. Let's stamp all the postcard stuff first because we don't want to not have room. And I can reuse these Masking Magic strips, so I'm not worried about that. All right, now I'll tell you one thing that I told our stamp manufacturer, and I was very clear on this. I was so worried about this T image for the postcard. I was so worried about it being real skinny when they first sent it to me. They had created this base up part. When I took, oh my goodness, Carol, thank you so much for the super chat. This base up part, that's the clear part that sticks to your acrylic block or sticks to your Misty. You'll notice on a lot of strip sentiments, they go very close to the edge, and it's very, you know, you can curve it around to do like a curved greeting and stuff like that. But I made it very clear that I wanted this to be very thick. I didn't want them to go around the outside because I did not want this line to be hard for you to keep straight. That's a big thing, you know? So before we do that one, let's do these little lines first. Let's get these where we want them to be. So this is going to be kind of close to the edge here because then we can move the T over a little bit. All right, so this is kind of where we want the lines, and this is where we're going to write our address.
So it's always on that side? The address?
The address and the stamp always go on this side of the postcard, yes. Yep. So let's put that on there first. So put that on there with some black. Now, if you do a bigger postcard, you'll have, you know, more room so that you could spread this out more. You could do another one on the other side for lines for actually writing your message, but we can just hand write. Somebody's asking about closed captioning. I don't know how that all works here on YouTube, but I think that you have to turn it on. There's a little dial that you would turn on. Okay, now before we put this T on here, let's put the word postcard on because we want the word postcard to be up here and we want it to be under the T. So I want to see where the T goes. I'm going to bring the T down a little bit, and then I'm going to bring the word postcard into the center of that, and that's where that is going to be. Okay. Now we can also move it over if we want and put postcard in the center, but I like the T. I like postcard being on, like centered on that T. And because we're doing the smaller postcard, we are, you know, we want those lines to be where they are. Now, if you want to shorten the lines, let me give you a little tip, okay? Before we do this, let me show you. Let's move this out of the way, and I'll give you a little quick tip. I'll do it on the back here. So if you wanted these lines to be shorter, you could. You can move the Misty this way. All right, you could hang it off the edge like this, all right, and pick it up with the door of your Misty. Then you can use a little bit of pixie tape. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate the super chat. And you can block off some of that, okay? Let's see if that's going to be enough. That might be enough, so that you can have less lines. You can go down. I'm going to go down just a little further. But if you don't want this whole thing to get inked up, just put it on there like that, okay? That's pixie tape. Now we're going to stamp. We're going to ink up. And then we're going to remove the tape. Now we only have that on a smaller portion. See, so we've shortened our lines there. So that's a little tip. I have a little stain there on my cardstock, but that's a tip how to make those lines shorter. In fact, I like that a lot. So I think I'm going to cut myself another piece of cardstock and make the lines shorter so my T can be in the center. So let's get a piece of cardstock. I've got another one right here, and I'm going to cut it off the screen to 3.5 inches by 5 inches, because that's the size postcard we are making. And let's do that. This is a good tip. So for the smaller postcard, you can shorten them, or you don't have to. You can do it the way I started. But then we can have the longer lines for the bigger size postcard. Okay, so we're going to start with the word. Let's put the T right in the middle. Ooh, we're getting fancy. We'll put the T right in the middle. And we'll put the postcard right up here. We want to leave room for the border, so we don't want to go too close to the top. But I think that's going to be nice right there. Okay, so we've got postcard there. Oh, and it's sticky. And you know what I forgot to do? You can put a little embossing magic powder on your fingers to help it not stick so bad. Okay, I think that looks pretty straight. I think so. I'm going to remove that T. I'm going to remove these. And we're going to start with the word postcard. So does that look pretty centered? I think so. All right, we're going to stamp that word first. Do the two stamps come together or not? I'm not sure, Tom. I don't know if that is in relation to something else because I don't know what two stamps. All right, so I'm going to give this a second stamping. If you can clarify your question, Tom will keep an eye out for it. All right, we've got that postcard stamped. Now we're going to add the T, and I'm going to do something similar to the T. I'm going to block a little bit of it off because I don't want it going all the way down because it's a little long for my card, for this particular size card. Not for every card, but for this particular size. And probably what I should have said in the beginning, the post office states that you can go from this 3.5 by 5 by 6. 3.5 by 6, is that the size? Ooh, did I cut it wrong? No, I did. I did it okay. 3.5 by 5, all the way up to 4.25. Where'd my notes go? All the way up to 4.25 by 6. So if you wanted to go 3.75 by 5.25, you can. It just can't be any smaller than 3.5 by 5, and it can't be any larger than 4.25 by 6. All right. I like to take my time. I don't like to stamp more than one stamp at a time when I'm doing something like this. I like to be able to take my time. I want to see where the postcard's going to go. And then I want to block off. See what I did here? I blocked off a little bit of that T. And I have to see where everything's going to land before I do it. So that's going to work really nicely for me. So now I'm going to, let me zoom out a little bit so you can see this happen.
It doesn't have to say postcard to mail it, right?
No, it doesn't.
It's fun.
Yeah. No, it doesn't, but it's cute. And that's why I like it. So now I'm going to ink up this T. And then I'm going to pull that tape off. And now I'm going to stamp the T. Okay. So now I've got my vintagey T in there. Now I'm going to go back and do the little dotted lines, and I'm going to shift this over here again because I need to do it. I need this to be in that corner. So I'm going to put this here. I need room for my stamp, my postage stamp. And remember, go down a little bit on this because the top line you're going to write on, that's going to be the person's name. So we'll pick that up. And then we're going to shorten this up a bit as well with a little pixie tape. And we'll check it before we commit to make sure that's going to look good. And I think that's going to look great, actually. I think that's going to be really nice. We could go out just a hair further. think I did that last time. Okay, now I'm going to ink that up. Pull that pixie tape off and stamp. There we go. So there we have that postcard. Isn't this fun?
That's really starting to look like the ones at the gift shop.
Right? And remember, this would be on the back, so we've got our beautiful card here, and then on the back we've got our postcard. Okay, so now we want to make the inside, the back side of the card. Again, I don't really know what's the front and what's the back on a postcard. My thought process is that the front of the card is the picture, and then the back of the card is where you write. So I'm using those Masking Magic strips again that I already peeled off. A couple of them ended up on the floor, so we'll have to see if they have hair on them, but you know. So I am blocking all of this off. Now, while I have all 2,800 of you here, I want to say this right now. Tom and I are not going to be able to be live on Thursday, but we have a video coming for you that we called a Not Quite Live. So we hope you will join us for that. It will air at the same exact time as our normal Crafternoon Live. But we have an appointment that we can't get out of, and unfortunately, because we'll be in an appointment, we will not be able to do it as a premiere and chat.
But it has some awesome cards as usual, and a word of the day.
Yes, it does. It has a fun word of the day. All right, so now what we're going to do here is we're going to go a little light-handed on this flower, and I'm going to just put it right in that spot. I'm not going to do anything over here. I could, though. I could go super light-handed on this. Should I? Should I? Maybe I'll do it this way. I'll do it like that. No. I feel like I want a little more. I think I'm just going to go with the single flower, like my original plan. And I'm going to go super light-handed. So let's block this off, because this is where you're going to write, so you have to be able to write over it. So we want to go with the lightest hand that we possibly can.
Like way lighter than you even imagine, right?
Yeah, right. Like way lighter. And I'm going to block off this stencil so that none of this gets there. And all I'm using is whatever is left on that brush. Super light.
It's like cooking garlic toast in the broiler. Like, think of how long it's going to take.
Now.
Think of how long it's going to take, and then do it like 10 times shorter than that, right?
Yes, definitely. Okay, so I burned garlic bread this weekend, and it was bad. It was bad. I opened the oven when I finally, I don't know, I put it in, and then I got on Instagram, and I was looking at cards, and all of a sudden I smelled smoke, and I went, oh no, and I opened the oven up, and the garlic bread was on fire. So, we didn't have garlic bread. I made meatballs with no garlic bread.
It was still awesome.
That's very nice. Now, I'm not going to add any more on here as well. I'm going to use the same brush, and I'm just going to go over it a second time. So I'm still getting that shading, but it's still super light. See, so you can write over that. That will be fine, but it gives it that little bit of dimension because I used the two different colors. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to add that. I'm not putting anything more on this brush. Just going to use that super light hand, and that's all we need. That's all we need for back there. Okay. So now I'm going to add another little postage thing. We could do a airmail thing if we wanted. That would be fun, but not if you're really going to send it, because it isn't airmail. If it is airmail, then by all means use that. But I'm going to decorate this now more as a postage card and less as if we put a stamp on it, because I want to do something up here. I'm thinking about maybe putting this here and then canceling it. Or we could even put it down here just as a decoration. We could do it in light gray just so that it doesn't get in the way. Let's do that. I'll get soft stone. Where is soft stone? It's out here somewhere. Isn't it? Maybe not.
Some viewers think I was teasing you about the garlic bread.
Oh, no.
I was not. Gina has so much room in that meal to like screw up that everything is still amazing.
Yeah, you know, Tom and I have been
That's the
married
truth.
long enough where we can't even really offend each other anymore, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
You guess? So I'm going to just stamp this in some soft stone and see how it looks. So that's pretty cute there. I'm going to add that down here just as a little decoration because I really want to leave that open for... See? That's so cute. And then we'll add the little canceled thing here.
There were a few open windows, though.
Oh, I opened windows. Everybody was freezing. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just do this little cancel thing over it like that. So I'm just going to do it down here. And remember, I'm staying away from where the real stamp is going to be, right? There we go. Now you could still write on that. That's no problem to write on that because everything is very light. But now we're going to finish it off by adding that little bit of sea glass around the perimeter. Because remember, if we don't do that, then why are we even doing the masking magic, right? We got to have that little bit of color going around the perimeter. And again, sea glass is the perfect color because it's not going to interfere at all with the purple. It almost feels like a sky, you know?
How long have we been married?
How long?
Quick.
38 years.
Okay.
Is
Go
that
with
right?
that. Yeah, that has to
It's
be-
kind of like your adult children. Like once they become 21, you don't even know how old they are anymore. I'm always like, how old are you now? And I used to think that's so weird that my mom would ask me that, but now I'm asking my kids, how old are you now? Okay, now we're peeling and revealing this little border. And I'm going to come in closer here so you can see this a little bit better. So can you see that border on there? Oh, Nellie, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Now you can see these coordinate beautifully, right? But here's your nice bold front. And then on the back, which is how this postcard would look, you've got this on one side and then you've got this on the other side. Isn't that fun? Now, I think you could probably get away with it if you glued two of these together and you glued them together like edge to edge without any little part of it coming apart. You might be able to get away with it as a postcard. But that will be very thick. It'll be very thick. And this white, heavy base weight white cardstock is so nice and thick that I think that it's thick enough. Tom, do you think that's too bright? I can cut that so they can see it a little better.
No, it looks fine.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'm just bringing the step stool over. Okay, now what I did here was, because I knew that this would take a lot of time, what I did here was I cut out of Master Layouts 8 a stitched panel and a black panel that I'm just going to tape together here. Because I know a lot of you love the big 5x7 cards, and I think that this is a really fun look, having a postcard on your card front. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not a postcard, but it's such pretty art. And postcards are also really like fun, vintage journaling art. People make postcards just for the purpose of putting them into art journals. And then I have some wild wisteria here, which I think is a nice color that coordinates nicely with our lilacs. And I'm going to put this on top of that. So for those of you that love the big 5x7 card, oh, I folded this really poorly. Look at that terrible fold job. What was I thinking? Let me just use my sleeve here because I don't know where my fold tool went. All right, it's gonna have to be better than horrible. So we'll just put that on there. Now, you could do this a couple different ways. You could stagger that. Actually, I did cut some panels for this. So you could stagger this. Let me just put a little dot of tape back here. I just cut this 1/8 of an inch bigger. So you could stagger that like that. And then you could do the same here. This is why it's kind of cool that we just have the front and the back on separate cards. So you could stagger it on there if you wanted. You could just use this as a single panel, which is a really nice size. You could just use this as a single panel and it would work really nicely. But I kind of like the idea of like mixing them together on here somehow. You know, maybe not even necessarily doing the postcard part, but just having that kind of staggered like that seems like a cool layout to me. And just having the lighter one in the background, or even the darker one in the background if you prefer. Kind of like that. And then you could write a little message on here. Or you could use this on the outside, and you could put this on the inside and write your greeting in here. So isn't that fun? Just a couple different ways to use that for a 5x7 card. Now I'm not going to leave it on the 5x7 card because I really do want to show everybody. I want to take pictures of these so people can see what the inside and the outside of the postcard looks like. I think it's really helpful if you're trying to recreate it to be able to see some clear, concise photos of it. And I will post them both in our Facebook group and here on YouTube so that you guys can see these really well. But they are my postcards. Now, I also think that you should not give up on the idea of doing some very specific kinds of postcards. So if you have somebody in your family that, you know, loves golfing, Debbie has a great golf set in our collection where you could do a little golf scene or a little camping scene, or, you know, Melanie has some beautiful animal stamps and things like that. You can also use silhouette stamps and create a scene on a farm by using our autumn silhouettes or our ocean silhouettes and create a beach scene. So it's very similar to a postcard in that you've created a scene. However, it's handcrafted because it's done with stamps and ink. All right, so Tom, what do you think? Do you like this idea?
That is spectacular.
It's fun, isn't it?
Love, love, love.
All right. Well, I think it's time for us to give away a gift card. What do you say?
Gift card giveaway.
Yes.
Okay. Let me get the drummer lined up here.
And we got to get you in the scene, too.
Okay. So, here we go.
Okay, there you are.
Drum roll, please. Here we go. All right, the winner of the card tonight is Bette Cuddahee. Bette Cuddahee.
Yay, Betty. Congratulations. You win a $15 gift card to Gina K Designs. You can use it whenever you want. They don't expire. And all you have to do is send your name and email address, and we will send that digital gift card to you through email. Well, everybody, this was so much fun. I hope you got... What?
Guess what we forgot?
What? Oh, are they asking?
We'll have to continue at that on the next video.
Oh,
See?
yes.
See, I'm so offended.
Well, we'll save your word of the day for next. We'll save it for next. All right.
Hang on, folks.
All right. No, they're asking. No. Okay.
next word, we'll have to let it go.
Okay, well, there's a word of the day coming on Thursday, so make sure you tune in for that. How's that? Sorry, Tom. This was kind of tricky, so I know I talked a lot, and there wasn't a lot of dead space.
It was great. That is awesome, and yeah, it's well worth the time spent. So go out and make those.
Yes, for sure. All right, everybody. Well, this was so much fun. We are so grateful that you joined us tonight. Now, like I said, Tom and I are unable to be live on Thursday, but we have a video called Stamp and Chat Not Quite Live. And Tom has a great word of the day. We have a lot of fun. We're going to be making a fun birthday card, and I hope you will join us then.
Hey, wait.
What?
So, we're not going to do a word of the day, but how about if we do something in lieu?
In lieu?
Do you like in lieu?
I like
that
in
word?
lieu.
Okay. So in lieu of a word of the day, we're going to just tell a quick story and do something. This is a little different than the word of the day, but it's a good, I think, change. So many people may not know, some people know, but many of your listeners don't know that your parents were in show business,
Yes,
right?
they were.
They were in show business. They were a comedy team.
Mm-hmm.
And I just happened to have, check this out.
Ah, there they are, Mom and Dad.
That's
Aww.
Gina's mom and dad, Hayden and Rogers,
Yes.
the comedy team of Hayden and Rogers.
Yep.
And so we thought, as at some point we were talking about this, and we wanted to feature, just kind of do now and then one of their little jokes or skits or funny isms there were so many that we grew up with.
Yes.
I grew up with that too, because Gina and I played in a band together when we were 15.
Yep.
So, okay, here's the quote. And they did a lot of marriage humor,
They
as
did.
you can imagine.
Oh, so you're going to tell one of my dad's quotes from their act?
Yes, one of your dad's jokes that he would tell, and they go back and forth and kind of let each other have it quite a bit. But this was on your dad. Your dad said, "I take my wife with me wherever I go. This way, I never have to kiss her goodbye." Right?
Yes.
So a little bit every now
love
and then
that.
we'll share something from their act. Bless their hearts. They were fun. They were Gina's house when we were kids. New York City was the city that never slept, right?
Right.
Her house was the house that never slept.
Yeah.
There were people having coffee at 2 a.m.
Always.
So just a little fun from.
We'll tell more stories. We'll share more stories in the coming weeks for sure.
You bet.
Yeah.
So
all right. Well, that's a perfect way to end it, Tom. You take me with you everywhere you go. This way, you never have to kiss me goodbye. I love it. And with that, everybody, on Thursday we have a pre-recorded video that we think you're gonna love. So make sure you tune in, and we're gonna be checking all the comments that you guys leave for that video. And then Tom and I will be back next Tuesday for another Stamp and Chat Live. In the meantime, wherever you are out there with all this weather and everything, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you all so very much, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.